Welcome to InsideTexas.com's YouTube channel. This is we're here with Coach. I've got James. I've got Justin. Justin, I just cut you off before we went live here because you were telling James how badass you are at NCAA 25.
I was telling him that I'm getting better.
Okay.
I'm not badass. Now, when it used to be PS2, PS3, there were a couple of years where I didn't lose, but I was rusty. And then my 8-year-old started beating the crap out of me. And so I finally beat him the other day. And so I feel vindicated because he owns this block. There's nobody in our neighborhood that's beat him yet. They're all older kids. So I'm getting better. I'm getting better. Never mind. I'm getting better.
Well, I was going to ask, what do you play on?
Oh, a PS5.
Okay. Can you do cross-platform?
No.
You can?
You can.
I don't know if you can.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You can.
Oh, we can? Yeah, it sounds like we got to play on the gridiron.
Oh, no, we can definitely play. Alex plays with Ricky Stewart and Lance Jackson online.
Oh, your son does?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He's pretty good.
Are you allowed to talk about the little Ryan Wingo thing? Or
No.
Oh.
What?
Let's move on.
So we've got an RPM win in today, fellas. Do you guys bring the people up to speed on that for Wiley? I'll start with you, Coach, and maybe you can fill us in a little bit, Justin.
Yeah, look, I did eval on this kid, man. When I first saw his film, I was like, yo, how is he? First of all, how did he go unnoticed? Because he's a complete animal on the field. You look at him, quick first step. He's striking people, picking up, body slamming them. He can cover. Anything you ask him to do, he can do it on defense. And so he's a versatile player. I know Eric put an RPM in. He feels very, very confident. I trust Eric. So, but this kid comes to Texas. I'm telling you, they're getting an absolute beast on the gridiron who can get it done at multiple spots. So I love the kid.
I think he's a bigger version of Ty Anthony. I think he's longer. He's rangy like Ty Anthony. He's already a little bit more filled out. I don't know if he's as instinctive as Ty Anthony, but he's violent and he's reactive and he's proactive and there's a lot of good things about this kid. And it's a process of elimination, in my opinion. I think I go along with Eric. I think Texas is the school because Michigan doesn't have confidence. Florida doesn't have confidence. And those were the two main schools that were kind of in the mix. So, hey, go to Tampa for a week, grab a Grayson Littleton and a Kellen Wiley and call it a day. And they may have a few surprises on National Signing Day.
He is a linebacker, guys. Where do you see him playing, Coach? Do you see him moving toward the perimeter? Where do you have him?
I got him lining up next, maybe weak side next to the complement to the middle linebacker like Anthony Hill or his class, Elijah Barnes. I think he'll play well off our bigger body. But if you need him to kind of play outside or play a slot, covering up the seam, covering slots, dropping to the curl flat, like he can do it all. On third down, he can rush the passer too. I'm curious to see how he feels out. He may be, if he's 225 now, he may be 235, 240, right? 245. He has the frame to add that kind of weight and still be productive and have all his athleticism. So I think he's a guy you kind of play in space, but you let him rush the pass on third down. But like I said, he had so much athleticism that he can cover. He doesn't have to ever leave the field. He can play all three downs.
The first step is what stands out to me. And he's being recruited by some of these other schools at edge. And so I could see him growing into an edge if a traditional inside backer, if he grew out of that. Either way, the kid he's violent on the field, and that's what you look for from that position.
Well, I mean, he's coming in at around 6'3.5", 220. I mean, it's again, body by Minecraft. That's a square build. I mean, he is absolutely filled out. But that's great. It's moving on to we've got basically 1 week here, fellas, until we get to National Signing Day, a little bit less. What are some of, if you had, for the folks at home that don't follow recruiting as tightly as everybody else does, what are 2 or 3 things they should be really looking for over the next few days here, Justin?
Michael Terry III, the number 1 athlete in the country out of San Antonio, Alamo Heights. It's known that he's probably going to wait until National Signing Day on December 4th to make his announcement. And it's known it's going to be down to Texas and Nebraska. Oregon made a nice try, but Texas and Nebraska are heads above everyone else in that recruitment. Be watching for that one. I think Texas leads there. I think the idea of him playing close to home is really the biggest part of it. He grew up a Texas fan regardless, but in Nebraska, it's done a tremendous job recruiting him. Like, you've got to give those guys a lot of credit. They made him a priority, like priority one at receiver, whereas Texas has him a little bit more H-back, tight end, possibly receiver, possibly tailback. He's going to be kind of a jack of all trades. That's a guy that Texas, they land that 5-star, and I think that solidifies a top 5 ranking, if not a little bit higher. They're still flirting with Michael Fasusi, but right now, as long as Bill Bedenbaugh is the coach in Oklahoma, he's going to Oklahoma. That's not going to happen. Kellen Wiley, guy we just talked about. Eric put in an RPM today. That's a guy that finishes off the linebacker class with Jonathan Cunningham and Elijah Barnes, 2 guys Coach Williams knows very, very well. That's 2 guys to look out for. And then will they take another edge? Javian Hilson looked like he was in the boat before the Georgia game. Then he's kind of flirting with Texas A&M. Then he's kind of flirting with Florida. He's going to be in College Station this weekend taking his official visit to A&M. That might be a de facto winner to see who gets him for that. It might be a little anticlimactic, though, the end of this cycle, because Texas has been able to flip a few of these guys. But at the end of the day, I think the class isn't finished, but it's close to the end. The only thing you can do is just continue to refresh at InsideTexas.com, because we'll have everything for you, especially that Wednesday morning when everything becomes official. But don't be surprised if Texas adds 2 or 3 more before they're done.
We want you to join us over at InsideTexas.com. We do have a promo going right now. It is just $1 for the first 7 days. All you got to do is go to InsideTexas.com. Join us there. We are having a flash sale, and you'll get 50% off the first year. It is you can't get any better coverage. Please join us over there. Coach, are there any players there that Justin didn't mention?
He's going down a list, like, unless there's, we got some names out there that we're chasing. You got your Justice Terry. You chased him right until signing day. Other than that, I mean, Javion Hilson.
There's a thing about Justice Terry, Coach. Today, one of the competitor sites put out that Georgia was Texas' top competition for Justice Terry.
Hey.
Yeah. That's only been known for 3 months. It's only been known for 3 months now.
I mean, saying.
I'll give you one other one. Myron Charles, Port Charlotte, Florida, committed to Texas. Florida is not letting up on that kid. Yeah. They are pushing. He actually put out a little ambiguous post on Instagram today that pretty much, I think, lets Texas fans know they're in a great spot to keep him. He was in town last weekend. I think that pretty much assured it. But the dead period doesn't start until the 2nd. And so Florida can conceivably get him on campus on Sunday if they want to get him to Gainesville and make that final push. I don't think it's going to be worth it, but just to add to those 2, I thought the Justice Terry caveat was hilarious. Hey, Georgia's the top competition. Welcome to the recruitment, gentlemen. That's been the case for over a year because they offered him in 8th grade.
The internet is nothing if not a bastion of hot takes, and we're going to get to some of those hot takes as soon as we hear from our friend Cookie.
What's up, y'all? Here to tell y'all about Prize Picks, and I got to say, when you're sports junkies like us, you got to make the games interesting every now and then, and there's no better way to make games interesting with Prize Picks daily fantasy made easy. It is so much fun to get involved in this. You got the Maction, you got the Thursday night game, you got the Friday night Big Ten game, and you got all the action on Saturday. You can go into any different sport or esport and find a square to make. It's Wednesday. There's some weeknight football on, so make sure you head to Prize Picks. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. It's really easy. You can use Apple Pay for quick and easy deposits into your account, all during football, basketball, hockey, or if there is an esports season as well. So y'all know I have some season-long ones looking good on the Quinn Ewers one. We'll see what happens with the Connor Weidman one. But to try to get in on the similar type of action, make sure you go to Prize Picks, get a guaranteed $50 once you play $5 in lineups. Use promo code InsideTexas. That's how you get $50 once you play $5 in lineups. Use Prize Picks. Use that code InsideTexas. It is daily fantasy sports made easy.
James, you have been trolling the internet. I believe that's the term we use, just to get a sense of what the folks are really into. So the way this is going to work is James is going to read off some of the takes that he got today. And all I need you boys to do is tell me whether you think this is a bold take or let's even do it even easier. This is something you're buying this idea or you're selling it. Very simple. I'm going to buy this take or I'm going to sell this take. So let's bring up the first one, James.
All right. So I put out today for some context, give us your bold takes for specifically the A&M game. So this one, we got the Todd father, I guess. He said the running backs go for a combined 250 yards, 0 fumbles. This one's a tough one, but honestly, last week, Trey Wisner made that look kind of better. They finally got the running game going against Kentucky. And, hey, Jaden Blue was walking around campus with the ball held tightly to his chest. So I'm gonna buy this one. I'm gonna say they can run for 250 yards, and I don't think they're gonna fumble. I'm gonna be optimistic. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, they've gone for over 200 yards for 3 consecutive games now, and it seems that since the Georgia and Vanderbilt game, they've been leaning on the run more, not only to help Quinn Ewers out, but to get the offense rolling. And nothing helps a quarterback out like a good run game. The offensive line's been playing better too, cleaner ball as well. I think they could go for over 250. I'll give you. I'm going to buy that, but 0 fumbles, no, I'm selling that. One of those guys is going to put the pill on the ground. It's just a matter of time. You just got to hope they fall on it, or like Jaden Blue did when he wheeled the ball out of bounds in Fayetteville. That was God.
Where do you land on this, Coach?
They need to rush for 250 to win this game, but
Yeah,
I'm going to sell both. I don't see it personally. Even in the press conference with the fumble, the ball was kind of low. I still didn't have it high and tight. I was kind of worried about it. Even in the press conference, he didn't have it high and tight. He had me worried a little bit. They need to rush for 250 yards or more, but I don't think they will be able to.
Yeah, to that point, I said I bought it, but I will say I think the path to victory is probably going to be through the air because A&M on the back half of their defense, that's where they're weak. They're like in the hundreds when it comes to giving up 20, 30, and 40-plus yard plays. So that is something that it might be hard for us to break 250 rushing.
Good call, Dan.
Yeah, but let's stay on this for a second, Coach, because you've got easily 2, maybe even 3 NFL players on that defensive line for A&M, and they've got those guys stunting. What do you see them doing the same business against Texas? I mean, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me for these guys to be doing so much stunting.
Yeah, sometimes, that's why they're so inconsistent, right? They stunt themselves right out of gaps a lot of times, and then they all stunt into the exact same gap. It's like, what are you doing? It's unnecessary at times, but I think Elko, that's who he is. That's his personality. That's his baby. He likes to create all this misdirection and all these stunts, but sometimes it hurts him in the run game. And so you saw it last week. You saw it against South Carolina, same thing. I don't know if they do it as much against Texas. I don't know. Maybe they saw film and say, look, this is not working. Let's just scrap it. Maybe we can use it on pass rush situations only. But if they do it, I think Texas can exploit them some, but we'll see.
I'm a big proponent of Sark here exploiting those stunts if Elko decides to stick to it. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and buy this one. Here's the next one, James. You want to read that for the fine people listening at home?
Yeah, we've got Terranator 69 here coming in. It appears he's a Auburn fan because of the War Dam part there. So after the whooping our boys in Alabama gave the Aggies, he thinks they're going to come out firing on all cylinders and save their playoff chances after the fire that we lit under their ass. Dare I say they might win. Hashtag Terry's Takes. It's a good way of marketing himself there, putting his own takes as a hashtag. This one's tough. I wish we had the bold rating because I can't lean one way or the other because that is what I'm worried about is you kind of saw them, oh, shoot, the most A&M thing to do would lose to Auburn and then come and play Texas with, all their heart. I'm going to buy it. I honestly don't feel good about this game. That's where I'm at. I just think this is, a different Quinn Ewers than last year walking into Bryant-Denny. I think this is the toughest environment by far we'll be playing in. The one before that was Michigan. And then, that was a day game, and Michigan turned out to be a 6-6 team. So I really am honestly quite worried about how Kyle Field will affect Quinn and that front four of A&M. I'm worried they might give them a similar look to Georgia. But, Coach, what do you think?
I'm going to sell this for the reason A&M had 2 games where they had a chance to kind of seal their fate and take control of it. South Carolina, they failed. Auburn, they failed, right? if Sark takes the ball first, he goes down and score like LSU did. Like they give up touchdowns and points every first drive. Like they can't stop people early in the game. They get behind versus Texas. I don't think they come back because Texas has a better defense than anybody they face besides South Carolina, right? And so I'm gonna sell this. I don't think they're gonna live up to the moment because it's just the ugly thing. when the moment rises, they fail. That's how I feel.
Where are you on this one, Justin?
I'm buying. I'm with James. I feel uncomfortable with this game, with what they're walking into. The first SEC road game at night. I love how Texas plays on the road. If anything, I'm kind of eager for that because we seem to find the best in Texas when they're on the road, when their backs against the wall, and they have 10, 11 straight road wins. But I'm buying this because I think this is what happens. Ian Boyd broke this down perfectly. When A&M is not expected to do well, you're going to see them come out and punch and do well. But when they do have a good game, they're terrible with prosperity. They don't handle that well. That's kind of why them beating Auburn would have been a good thing because it would have reinforced how are they going to handle prosperity here. But they didn't. And actually, I think that might hurt Texas a little bit. These guys, look, it was obvious when they asked Elko a week and a half ago, hey, are you guys overthinking Auburn? Are you kind of looking at Texas? He goes, of course we're not looking at Texas. We're getting prepared for Texas.
Right.
That was a clear giveaway. They understand this is their Super Bowl. There's nobody else they're going to play in the last 12 years where the game means more to them. Nobody. I think for that, they're going to be firing on all cylinders. Dare I say might win? I don't know about that, but I'm with James. There's some hesitancy there because they're really good at home. They're good at night, and they've got a good defense. And those three things, if you're not playing well, can bite you. And so I'm buying this.
Yeah, the only thing I would just say is how much they struggle on offense, and they kind of have, with Marcel Reed, they still haven't really fully found an identity. And also Texas has done great against quarterback runs. So that's the thing is if Quinn's rattled, it might be a situation where as long as he doesn't get strip sacked or something like that, or, misread a corner, misdiagnose a corner on the outside and throw an interception like he did against Georgia. Like Georgia really only scored because they got set up, right? And A&M, if they don't get set up like that, I just don't see them moving the ball on this Texas offense or defense.
I think the only reason to buy this is because Terry he comes out really bold at the top of this take and then just uses a whole bunch of hedging language at the end. Yeah, dare I say they might win? Well, hell yeah, Terry, they might win. That's the way the game is played. So 50-50. I'm going to buy that purely on that qualifier.
50-50.
Good looking guy though. I like that goatee.
Let's move on. What do we got here, James?
All right, so I like this one. Okay, I'll read it for y'all. So Brady Wilkins says Anthony Hill Jr. comes out and just bottles up Marcel Reed. We've done great against quarterback run, as I just hinted at. 2 sacks, 4 TFLs, and a forced fumble. Now, that's a crazy stat sheet, but I also think he probably has a fire lit under his backside a little bit because they didn't put him as a Butkus finalist, and his stats were well-deserving. So I'm buying this one. What about you, Justin?
Yeah, I'm buying this one as well. I think Anthony Hill's progressively got better throughout the entire season. He's had, maybe one bad game this entire year. I want to say maybe it was Mississippi State.
Yeah,
I can't really remember, but every week he's getting a little better and getting a little better. And so that stat line should not surprise anybody. He has been doing that actually pretty much every other game for the last 2 months. And so don't forget, Anthony Hill was committed to Texas A&M for a good while. And it took Steve Sarkisian, Chris Gilbert, and the entire staff coming to his house a week before an early national signing day to flip him. And A&M did not treat him well after that happened. So knowing Anthony Hill, he's quiet. He's very reserved. He doesn't complain about anything or say a bad thing about anything. He's going to shut his mouth, snap his chin strap, and bring hell with him to Kyle Field.
Where are you on this one, Coach?
He's muted.
Coach.
Hey, I'm buying. I might didn't want to say, but I'm buying. I don't know what mute on me all of a sudden, but I'm buying. Anthony Hill, man. Look, ever since I seen the kids freshman didn't mind. Like, this is what he does. This is like a normal day at the office for him. Right? This is just what he does. So I'm buying. We face plenty of other dual threat quarterbacks who can run. If he spies you, he's going to chase you down. He's going to get a sack, or you're going to give him a sack because you're going to go down like every other quarterback does before he gets there. And then hopefully he gets forces a fumble because we'll need it.
Yeah, he's got 4 on the season for reference. He had a lot more than I think it was Chris Paul and some of those other guys on that Butkus list. I think Anthony Hill's fired up. As Justin said, quiet guy, so he'll probably let us play, do the talking.
If you're someone that's been following Inside Texas at InsideTexas.com or even this YouTube channel throughout the year, one of the things that we've really been talking about is the progression of Anthony Hill as a middle linebacker. He was used as a guided missile last year, and now he's having to play a lot more between the ears. And the progression of that from game one all the way up to this point has been nothing short of just dangerous. The man is literally giving force pushes on quarterbacks and they're just going down before he gets there. It's an impressive stat. So I hope this is true. I want this to be true. I am buying this one. What do you got here, James?
All right. So this one is probably the hottest take of the night. That's why I threw it in there. We love Juan Davis. Great pass blocker. Great in run block too. But so Juan Davis for 6 receptions for 85 yards and a TD. That would be a lot of firsts for the season. Juan has yet to break 85 yards.
Is this Juan's burner account that made this thing?
I can't tell. Oh, that's Trey Wisner in the picture. So maybe.
Okay, all right.
I'm going to say love Juan Davis. No hate to Juan Davis, but I'm going to say that's really bold. I'm selling that one. How about you, Coach?
I would love this for Juan Davis, right? Because he's bought his time, man. He put in a lot of hard work. He helped the team in so many ways, but I have to sell this. Sark has so many people he throws the ball to. I don't think Juan Davis is at the top of the reception list. So I just have to sell this, honestly. I love it, though. I would love to see it.
Yeah. This is a sell, and I can tell you right now, there's a longtime trustee member at Inside Texas named Malaise. That's his burner. If y'all are looking for it, we just found it.
That's right.
Because he loves some Juan Davis, and he calls him the Thick King, and that's THICC. He's the Thick King. Juan Davis isn't catching 65 yards, or 6 catches for 85 yards and a touchdown. He might get him a touchdown. He almost got him a touchdown last week. Was it last week or Arkansas? One of the last 2 weeks, he got close. He got down to, I think, the 2-yard line. I think it was against Arkansas. So Juan is smelling the end zone. He's getting closer. But I think Gunnar Helm, who's the leading receiver on this team, that's more of his stat line. So I'm going to sell.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Let's go to this. Let's go to this one over here. What do you got here for us, James?
So we got Derek Smith, and he's not feeling the nerves at all. He's saying Texas by 10+. So right now they're 5.5-point favorites. So that's a safe cover there. And he thinks it'll be. I referenced Brian Denny earlier. That was the toughest road environment probably Quinn has played in his life. So everything behind the front four, the defense is suspect, right? So the secondary is not great, and A&M's given up 40 in 2 of their last 3 real games. Yeah, we don't count New Mexico over here at Inside Texas. Sorry to the Lobos. But I'm going to say this is the thing. It's like we were talking about earlier. I bought the one earlier where I said it could be tough, but I'm going to buy it because I think this could be a final score similar to Arkansas. I could see this being a 24-13 type of game. But, Derek, I think that's a solid take that, maybe Texas has been their best on the road. But, yeah, what do you think, Justin?
Yeah, I'm going to sell this. I think this is going to be a closer game than 10. Does Texas have the components to click and win a double-digit – get a double-digit win? Absolutely. But I think there's just too much going into this game. There's going to be so much – this is going to have sort of an OU feel to it. There's going to be some violence. There's going to be some anxiousness. Every play is going to matter. Now, once these guys play 4 or 5 more years, they get back on that rivalry schedule, it won't have the same intensity that Texas OU has. It never really has. But this year, I feel like it will. And so I don't see a double-digit win here. I can see Texas winning by a field goal, but I think it's going to be a one-possession win. Or one-possession game, rather.
Coach, what do you got over there at daycare?
So –
I am definitely going to sell this, only because I got a prediction that Texas wins with a last-second field goal, just like we ended the Robin, back in 2011. So, but no, honestly, it's going to be a very close game, hard-hitting game. It can go either way to the final seconds. I think it's going to be a nail-biter. You're going to be on the edge of your seats, and so
yeah.
I would definitely take it.
This is going to be a lot like 2011, guys. This game is going to have a very, very strong 2011 vibe.
Yeah, I think I would definitely take the under on this.
That's why I'm nervous. I feel like it might be like 2011. This guy is not, though. Fort Worth 0518 says 49-0, like we did to OU a couple of years back.
Oh, buddy.
Dude,
I think we answered that one.
I wish. I'm just gonna go ahead and sell that one. What do you got, Coach?
I love it. He got it where it counts, but I'm selling.
Well, if Texas goes into College Station and wins 49-0, you're going to have 2 million Texas A&M Aggies delete their social media account.
I think A&M would not have a football program next year. They'd set up.
Man,
They'd have to count that spring game as a win again.
They'd probably close up shop. They'd put 10 sober Kyle Field. It'd be over if they lose 49-0. I mean,
all right, let's take us home here, James.
All right, so we got the fit dad. I mean, yeah, he looks pretty yoked there in that picture. if that's real, he looks kind of like Rich Piana, or maybe an old Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Spend a lot of time on this guy's physique. Can we get to the tweet there, please?
Sorry, see a shirt. I gotta look at him.
He's distracted.
You just start like rating this guy's delts. Can you just?
Well, I go to Gold Gym.
Glutes.
Anyways, all right. So he's saying the Aggies are going to win because we won't be able to consistently pick up the blitz. But then they lose to Georgia in the SEC championship, which would be the most A&M thing to do, and they should not be in the playoff when they're 9-4. Horns make the playoffs. Aggies go to the Texas Bowl. That's a big deal for them guys if they can make it to the Texas Bowl. They just lost there last year. But hey, see, this is like a big kind of bipolar tonight because this is why this game is a total coin flip, and I'm not touching this game with a 10-foot pole when it comes to picking them. But I want to say sell. I'm going to sell. I'm going to believe that the O-line will be better this week. I want to hope that we've learned from Georgia and that Quinn will be slightly better in the pocket presence. Run game might help him. I'd like to see a couple shots hit deep because A&M is vulnerable back there. But I'm going to sell this one just purely on belief. I don't know. What do you think, Justin?
I'm buying. I think the blitz is going to be what Texas, if A&M is to rattle Ewers, and we've seen where it's not that difficult. Now, when Ewers is in ideal situations, he might be the best quarterback in college. But when they don't get ideal, it gets sideways pretty quick. So I'm buying this because I want to see them do a better job picking up the blitz. Against Georgia, they looked so confused in the first half. And I don't think we're going to see that again. And even with A&M's stout front four, front seven, it's still not Georgia's level, especially at the linebacker position. Georgia has a lot better linebacker play. The D-line's about on par with Georgia, but not at linebacker. And so I'm actually buying this. Georgia would thump them in the SEC championship, kind of like they did TCU in the national championship a few years ago. The Horns will make the playoffs, and the Aggies will be in Houston on December 31st for the Texas Bowl.
Well, Justin, I'm curious. You said about the Georgia, rattling them at first. Do you remember how many? Because they looked more comfortable second half. Do you remember if we gave up any sacks in the second half, or if how many?
I think they gave up 2 sacks in the second half, but they did change their cover. They changed their protections because there was the right side was getting confused. DJ Campbell and Cam Williams that was their worst game. It was really just the right side of the O-line. It wasn't the whole O-line. It was Jalen Walker coming off the field side edge. And so I think they figured that out, but it was almost too late because they gifted Georgia the field position that they did. And now we've learned that Georgia's offense really isn't that great. It's got a quarterback in Carson Beck that's solid but makes mistakes. It's got a good running back in Trevor Etienne that's going to play on Sundays like his brother, but he's not a game breaker. There's no receivers that you're scared of at all, and Oscar Delp is probably their best receiver. And so the offenses mirror each other in a way with Georgia. You just can't put these guys in such good field position like they did Georgia. You're right, though. They made adjustments in the second half. As long as DJ and Cam are on the same page, I don't think we're going to see that again, but I have to see them beat that on the field. It can't just be, well, this is what we expect. I have to see them beat that on the field to believe it.
Mm-hmm. And Coach, what do you think about this take?
I'm buying. This is one reason I think it's going to be a close game. I don't know how healthy Quinn's ankle is, right? For a guy that doesn't have the best mobility with a healthy ankle, if he can't move in the pocket, he's not Lenore Sellers. You see how often they got him, they just couldn't bring him down. Quinn's going to go down in those situations, right? They throw a bunch of different looks at the O-line, try to confuse the quarterback and the protection schemes up front. where Georgia had a bunch of late shifts, but for the most part, they had a 4-man rush just kind of
Yes.
getting there. They made 5 or 6, they just rushed 4. And it was going to show 7 at the line. And then you don't know who's dropping, who's actually coming. So that's the most confusing thing. So I want to see how we pick up that early in the game. And then we can make adjustments on the sideline at halftime. But A&M is going to throw so many looks. You don't know who's coming, who's dropping. And so it's so confusing. You need to be able to scan the whole field, go through all your reads, right? Because it's there. Things are open, but you just got to hope that, they don't trap you in the back end when the zone blitz or something, then you throw it in the double coverage and now it's the interception. So it's very confusing. Kind of watching film and it's hard. It's very hard. So Quinn needs to be on the A game. The O-line needs to be on the A game. But the receivers need to be on their A game too. Sometimes you need to sit down, give Quinn a chance. Don't keep running your route. Just shut it down and stop in the open window when you got a chance. So it's a complete team effort.
Good call.
But I'm buying. It's hard.
Good call.
Coach is buying. If you are selling, regardless of what your real estate needs are, check in with our friend Laura. I want to tell you about Laura Baker. If you're looking for a new home in the 512 or even at this point, let's face it, 737 area code, there's only one number to call. That's Laura Baker at 512-784-0505. As a member of the elite Andy Allen team with Keller Williams, Laura has helped Longhorns find the home of their dreams in Central Texas. Just ask our resident sex symbol, Ian Boyd, who moved all the way from Michigan to Texas with Laura's help. Laura can help you find what you're looking for in the 512, the 737, or even parts of the 254 and the 210. Just, give her a call at 512-784-0505. Her email is in the description as well as the rest of her contact details. She's a friend. Give her a call. Coach, I want to get to some of the questions here in the chat. I appreciate you all bringing those in. And the first, we've talked about this maybe a little bit. Certainly, it's been a point of discussion going into this. But is Reed the best quarterback that Texas has faced, except for maybe Carson Beck this year?
No, I think the best quarterback they face is Taylor Green. Now, Taylor wasn't 100% healthy, but to me, Taylor is the best quarterback Texas has faced this season because he has unbelievable speed when he's healthy, but he actually can throw the ball. He actually does progressions and make a pass. So, no, Marcel Reed is not the best, not to me.
Diego Pavia. That's the best quarterback Texas has faced this year. That's I'm going to stand on the table for that one. That dude's an ultra competitor. I'm going to tell you right now, if Diego Pavia was the quarterback at A&M, that line would be different.
Yeah.
That tells you who's the best one they've played this year.
Let's go to game plan a little bit here. I want to see what you think about this, Coach. Our friend Helio says, good evening, fellas. Do you think that the Texas game plan they rolled out against Florida will work against A&M? They had a lot more quicker reads for Quinn and getting the ball out on time. Where do you land on that one, Coach?
Well, first of all, you want to get the ball out quick. But they have a guy by the name of B.J. Mays. I kind of wrote about as one of the key players.
Good corner.
He will blow up a screen quickly. He had 3 interceptions. He will fool the quarterback and show one thing but play another coverage. So he has some. I'm not calling him Asante Samuel, but they kind of run cover 5 or cover 2. Corner thinks he's a man. He'll do a complete 360 and come down and cover the flats and pick it off. Like, he's special. So you got to be careful. I think over the middle, they're most vulnerable, honestly. And it gives Gunnar Helm more catches, which I'm happy about. But when they leave the middle kind of open with Torrey and York, which I love, but you can't cover people like Gunnar Helm or anybody else in the middle of the field. That's where I would attack. And the quick screens and things like that, you watch any of the other games, they blow those up completely, right? And make tackles in the open field. So I wouldn't do it.
Where do you land on this one, James?
Yeah, I did notice that against LSU was a lot of a couple of Nussmeier's interceptions were trying to press the outside. And on some screens, they just lit them up. But, yeah, I think they're just going to have to get a little more creative. I do think, however, we could see some big plays if Quinn hits on those throws because just A&M's susceptible to that. I know that they don't really ever send Helm on, post routes. But, yeah, across the middle, some of those speedy guys, it'd be nice to see, Golden, I think, would be someone who could go off in this game for sure. So, yeah, I think we're going to have to get a little more creative, get a little less lateral, maybe attack the middle, as Coach was saying, and just kind of expose A&M where they're vulnerable and not play into their game plan so much and get the ball out fast. It's going to be quick. So just drag routes, slant routes. Let your speedy guys go and make plays. But, yeah, the Sark screens may not be able to go as hard on A&M this weekend.
We would love for you, again, to join us over at InsideTexas.com. If you join us over there this week, you're going to get $1 for 7 days and 50% off your first year with us. I want to thank all of you for being here tonight. We're running a little bit short because people got to go eat their pre-game turkeys. So thank you for this. You guys have a lovely holiday. We are going to be back with you Friday morning with the roundtable with all of our predictions. We hope that you will join us then. Thank you for joining us now.